everybody, welcome to Old Street Pub in Smithtown, Super Bowl 49. This is our 60th episode. My name is Jimmy with the Weekly Rant, sitting alongside none other than Mr. Chris Porcelli.
How's it going, James?
I'm good. And sitting up front here, we have our head of all trades, master of nothing, our bearded sound and audio gentleman, Mr. Vincent Cicero. For starters, I do want to send a couple of thank yous out right away. I'd like to thank Frank, Laura, Joe for having us here and for having this wonderful event as they do every year. I really hope everybody also has a good time here. And hey, make sure you tip your waiters and waitresses and take care of Steve and Anna behind the bar.
Yeah, I guess everyone's here to talk about hockey.
We're here to talk about hockey, all right. All right, buddy.
And the free water, definitely the free water.
Oh yeah, free water as always. Hey, listen, so just like we always do, we got a rundown here. We got Super Bowl 49 down in Arizona.
Yeah.
We got the Patriots and the Seahawks here. I'm looking for a great game, but like I said, I do want to jump into the rundown here. So I just welcome everybody to Old Street here. It's a 60th show. We will discuss real quick, the Giants did have a really tragic loss in their team's history here, and Mara.
Yeah, way to start the show off on an uplifting note.
And then, I'm sorry. So going along down our rundown here.
Yeah, we got Russell Wilson versus Tom Brady, demise versus rise.
And along the demise and the rise, we got Belichick versus Carroll.
The defense versus the Patriots offense, which I think is an interesting battle.
We'll also speak of the prop bets. The prop bets, they always have.
Prop bets, I'm looking forward to.
Wonderful ones. Yeah. How much cleavage is Katy Perry going to show? That's out there.
That's a big one. Literally.
So we'll talk about that as well.
Did you pick up one I did there? Subtle. The key weapons of the game between the Seahawks and the Pats.
Yep. And then finally, as we would, take care of our predictions here.
Yes.
And I think all three of us are actually on complete different pages.
Well, that's most definitely. That's because I don't know anything. Right, neither do we. That's why we're up here with microphones.
All right, so let's jump into this really, really tragic news real quick here. Ann Mara just passed away while out in the snowstorm about 2 weeks ago. She slipped and hit her head. She went to the hospital, and they just recently found out she just passed away. As everybody knows, Ann Mara, she's really considered the first lady of football, the matriarch of the franchise's founding family. Yep. 85 years old. She slipped outside in Rye, New York, where she lives.
She has 43 grandkids?
She has 43 grandkids and 20-something,
16 great-grandkids?
Wow. Yeah.
God bless. She's doing well.
But, and then she owned 50% of the Giants. You know, once Wellington Mara passed away, it was her and her children. Right. They took over that in 2005. So, it's real tough news. But, hey, we got to cover that, you know? We got to cover it.
Yeah.
All right, so, demise versus the rise. Tom Brady, Russell Wilson. A lot of people don't realize that. You pointed out to me. Don't really pay attention here. This is Russell Wilson's third year in the NFL, and he's already going to 2 Super Bowls. What's your take on that?
I think he's set up for his defense. His defense has brought him there, but he wins games. And you can't knock getting to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. A chance to win 2 of them. It's very impressive. And you have Tom Brady on the other end, on the twilight of his career, looking to recover from 2 giant losses in his last 2 appearances.
It's amazing what a 37-year-old can do still, in his career. I mean, even like Peyton Manning, what he can do as well.
Well, I think Peyton Manning, his days are numbered now.
His days are numbered.
Now.
He said he's going to be making his decision soon. But with Tom Brady here, coming up in the 2000 draft, everybody knows 199th draft overall. Everybody knows that? I mean, come on, one thing you realize about Tom Brady when he got picked.
Does anybody care about that?
No one cares about that. But the fact is here, you have a quarterback coming 199th overall versus a quarterback being picked 12th overall. Yeah. And the future that he has, with the team in front of him, being Russell Wilson, is out of control. Yeah. Now you look at the accolades of Tom Brady, 3-time Super Bowl champ, 2-time Super Bowl MVP. Yep. This is his 6th time at the Super Bowl. They have everything around them, all the pieces of the puzzle. You know their record in December is one of the most historically great. Good. Yeah. and then going into the playoffs. So
yeah, but I think the key right now for Tom Brady is he's lost his last 2 appearances in the Super Bowl to the Giants both times. What happens to his legacy if he loses his last 3 appearances in the Super Bowl? To me, I think that's a big storyline.
I mean, 3 and 3 in the Super Bowl.
It's a big storyline. I mean, how do you look back on it? Everyone wants to kill Peyton Manning in the playoffs. Tom Brady potentially could lose 3 Super Bowls in a row now.
Well, you would look at Peyton Manning being one of the worst playoff performers, and then you would look at Tom Brady as one of the worst Super Bowl performers.
I mean, he still won 3, but there is something to be said. It's been a while since they've won one. And but the thing about Tom Brady is he always seems to find pieces and make things happen. He's never had a prolific running back. He's never had a prolific wide receiving core. He does a lot of it on his own, and I think that's the other difference with Russell Wilson, who is definitely aided by Marshawn Lynch, that Seattle defense, and that playing in that weather too. Playing in that weather, he's not asked to do as much. I mean, in his last Super Bowl appearance, what was his stat? He threw about 200 yards?
Well, he had actually in his previous Super Bowls overall, he's got 1,277 yards, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. One of his best Super Bowls that he had was against Carolina, where he went 350 yards, 3 touchdowns. You know, he absolutely lit Carolina up. They did not deserve to be there.
No, but I mean, they did what they did. But just going back to Russell Wilson, I mean, last year when he was in the Super Bowl, it was in New York. It was a cold weather game. It was outside. It's a big difference. He wasn't asked to do as much. He threw about 200 yards.
How much of a difference is it really? He plays in Seattle, where it can get pretty cold as well, and pretty crappy weather as well.
And I think that's how that team is built. I think that team is built to play in rain and cold and dirty and using Marshawn Lynch. And he's going to be asked today, when you're an indoor team right now playing in a neutral site, he's probably going to have to do a little bit more. And you have Darrelle Revis out there. You've given Bill Belichick 2 weeks now to prepare for a guy like Russell Wilson. I don't know if that bodes well for him.
Who do you think actually has more pressure on them now? Tom Brady for the fact that he's finally back in the Super Bowl to win, or Russell Wilson after just winning last year's Super Bowl? Who has more of that pressure?
I think there's more pressure on Tom Brady, and the fact that Russell Wilson has the defense, which is Richard Sherman. They have a great defense, and of course Marshawn Lynch. The pressure's on him. Russell Wilson is not asked to go out and win this game. He's going out there to manage the game, make good passes, use his feet a little bit, get outside the pocket. Tom Brady, on the other hand, he has to go out and win this game. He has to use his weapons. He has to lead that offense in there. And I think that's a key difference between the two of them.
Yeah, last year's stats for Russell Wilson were stats that I think we're going to see again this year. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I don't think there's going to be a lot of passing yards going on. Just like last year when he threw for 18 to 25, 206 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. I don't foresee New England really making any interceptions here at all. Their defense isn't all that great.
I think they have a good defense. I think they're really good at scheming. You have Vince Wilfork up the middle, who probably
they're great at the spy game too.
Yeah, well, they are very good at cheating. That they've getting caught and everything else. But I think Vince Wilfork up front in the middle is going to be a big part of this game. If he can slow down Marshawn Lynch up the middle, that could be a key contributing factor then. And they've had, again, you've given Belichick 2 weeks to scheme. That's scary. That's scary.
You know what's scary is the atrocious green Islanders hat you're wearing right now. I don't know if that's your support for green and the Seahawks, but
gotta represent my first place Islanders. I don't know if we're all here to talk about first place Islanders.
Lundqvist. Did you see Lundqvist last night? That puck to the neck?
Yeah, he's good at taking shots to the well, take it easy. Hey, I mean, next time you guys go out, I'm sure he'll try real hard. Maybe he'll beat us. He won't. But again, we're not here to talk hockey. No. I had to represent my Islanders. It's New York, the last season here. They're dominating.
God.
Yeah.
All right.
I know.
Belichick and Carroll. There's a lot of really neat history here, especially that when Pete Carroll was with the Giants. No, I'm sorry. When Pete Carroll was with the Patriots from 97 to 99, Pete Carroll's assistant head coach was Bill Belichick.
Yep. Yeah.
And, I mean, the teams that both of these coaches have gone through are a lot. I mean, we're talking for Belichick, Baltimore, Detroit, Denver, Giants, Cleveland, New England, the Jets for 36 seconds.
Yeah.
Even Carroll. Carroll was with Minnesota, the Jets, and New England, and Seattle. Obviously, we know USC, but he got those championships taken away, and yada, yada, yada.
I think that's the most unfortunate part of this whole Deflategate and talking about ball pressure and everything else that was going into it. Nobody was really focusing on the history and the pedigree that these two coaches had. The fact that Pete Carroll was the last head coach of the Pats before Bill Belichick. It's an interesting storyline. If you meet them, what do they know about each other? Obviously, they have a tremendous amount of respect for each other, but their styles couldn't be more different. Pete Carroll's out there. He's got the swagger. He's a player's guy. He's throwing, when he was with the Jets, he was playing pickup basketball. And then you have Belichick, who is just the complete opposite of that. Locked down like a robot, an evil man behind a curtain, but a schemer, lives, breathes, and dies. It's two different strategies, and it's interesting to see how teams take on those personalities. The Seattle team, they're tough, they're loud, they talk, they have a good time out there, other than Marshawn Lynch. He does not talk.
He's he doesn't say, I'm just here to get paid.
I'm here. No, I'm here.
I'm here so I can get fined. You know why I'm here. Good call. So Bill Belichick, now both these coaches, they're close in age, but Bill Belichick obviously has the Super Bowls over him. He's a 5-time Super Bowl champ, 3-time with the Patriots, twice with the Giants. We all know he lost twice with the Giants. Now, as we know, he's the captain of Spygate, the accomplice to Team Deflategate, and the assistant. I actually think Carroll has the potential to become the better head coach. If he stays with this team, and this team continues to compete and go after the players they have to go after, it really comes down to that. I mean, obviously Belichick, they have a great scouting system, and they keep players that no one knows, and all of a sudden they just blow up.
Well, I think, he's obviously been very good at that. I mean, you look at a guy like Blount, who he picks up from the Steelers, right? He's a sleeper MVP pick for some of them out there. Very good running back that he picks up there. I mean, Belichick has a history of picking up guys, like you said, Tom Brady in the 6th round. He does that, but at the same time, Seattle's defense, right, and riding that team out there, the Patriots don't play in the best division. They don't. It's just a fact. The Jets, the Bills, the Dolphins have all been perennial struggling teams.
The Patriots have the advantage by being in that type of a division.
Right, absolutely have a division. So you have all those wins. But again, now that you come down to it, I think a lot is riding on this Super Bowl for Belichick as well. Coming back to his 6th Super Bowl as a coach and losing a 3rd one in a row, I think would say a lot, and Carroll being on the upswing, and for them to be repeat champions.
It's incredible. Both these guys have been coaching for over 40 years. Whether it be head coach, assistant coach, tight ends coach, wide receivers coach, they've been around the block. They've seen it all. They really have seen it all. And you're right, they do have the utmost respect for one another. So you're looking at a very good game here. It's the first time in a while that I'm looking forward to a Super Bowl game. For the teams itself, not just the fact that I'm a Giants fan and I love the Giants Super Bowl wins, but I think this is one of the better games we've had on hand. Obviously, since the Giants-Patriots, last game the Patriots were 18-0. But before that, it's been a while since we've seen a game like this.
I think we were talking about it earlier. I think this is one of the best football games of the year. Just the way that both teams are playing. They're both coming in hot. They're the two best teams, and they happen to be in the Super Bowl. I think it's really one of the best Super Bowls that hopefully lives up to the hype.
So, let's just talk real quick. Last Super Bowl, last year, what did you do?
For the Super Bowl?
Wait, were you with me last Super Bowl?
Last
Super Bowl, all right. Because everybody was asking, are you going to bet on commercials? Now, something that we used to do, and I still have set up back at home, is we bet on commercials. And typically you have 4 commercial breaks in a quarter, and so you would bet on each one, what commercial is going to come up. And speaking of which, have you seen the new Budweiser commercial?
I have not.
You have not. It's been all over, completely viral.
Yes.
Tear-jerking commercials. Yeah, it's like tear-jerking commercials. What are they doing? And then they had one with the other commercial that they had was with GoDaddy. I don't know if you saw that as well. The GoDaddy commercial was with a dog, and they decided that they were going to take this dog, and they're driving in a truck, or maybe 6 or 7 puppies in a bed. One dog falls out the back. So the dog tries to find its way home. The dog eventually comes home, runs up to the mother and says, oh great, we missed you, because look, we've now sold you on this website. And all of a sudden they just throw the dog in another truck and it ships off.
You know what I have a problem with? Exploiting puppies for advertising. Because right now you're talking about whatever company this is, you're talking about them.
That was GoDaddy.
Definitely gone to a new level on that.
Yeah, that's to me, I mean, come on, what's next? What's next?
And then they have the naked model who has the watermelons in front of her, and then she's got tomato.
I don't want to know what you're doing.
Listen, I watch TV. We had some commercial show going on. I swear it's a commercial. It's nothing else. It was really a commercial I was watching tonight.
Yeah, late night showtime doesn't exactly count.
Oh my God. So, it's been now basically a deadbeat story about the Flake game. But one of the, I don't want to jump right in just at the prop bets, but I do want to ask you real quick. They had, I know, they had the under-over real quick for the prop bets. And deflate game. How many times they're going to say deflate balls?
Deflated balls. The over-under, the times will be mentioned in the broadcast, deflated balls was at, I believe, 2.5. And I don't know about you guys, the lock of the century hammered that over. They are going to talk about it easily 3 or 4 times and say that phrase. I'd be shocked if they didn't.
Yeah. They probably already said it 3 or 4 times.
They probably, you know, I don't know if there's enough coverage around this Super Bowl. You know what I mean? I don't know if they talk about it enough. There's enough pregame shows. Probably not.
Do we have the numbers on the commercials? How much they are? I think it's $4.5 million for a 30-second commercial.
I didn't see that this year. I know it's a lot of money. I don't know. Do you think Samsung paid for any commercials for the Super Bowl? Do you think they did that? No? I'm not really too sure.
All right, so the defense and offense. One of the biggest stories here, as is every year, is Seattle's defense. They're the #1 defense year in, year out. This game comes down to defense versus offense. We talk about one of the top offenses in the NFL with New England. The top defense in the NFL with Seattle, which is why everybody thinks it's going to be a low-scoring game, except for our friend here, Vinny, who thinks it's going to be a 35-31 game.
Hey, you weren't supposed to let everyone know that just yet.
But I think, you know what, they also said that last year. You know, last year we were talking about Seattle's defense and Peyton Manning having an unstoppable offense, and that turned into a dub. Yeah. I don't see New England pulling off a Broncos-type performance where they just can't even get out of their own way. I think it is going to be a close game. I mean, their offensive numbers this year were very impressive for the Patriots. Very impressive.
Yeah, we're talking about total defense rank. They let up barely 16 points a game, obviously being first in the NFL.
Well, I was talking about the Patriots offense, but if you want to talk about Seattle defense, you can.
See, I had this thing where selective hearing, right? I can care less what the hell you're saying.
I think everybody here has selective hearing.
Well, I'm jumping into the defense here. So now their rushing yards against, they just let over about 80 yards a game.
Yep.
And they're probably going to let up even less than that this game. I don't see the Patriots being successful on the ground.
You know what? I'm going to have to disagree with you there. I do think that part of their game is going to be pounding them down and wearing them down up the middle and a lot of dinks and dunks. And I think that Blount actually could run the ball very well. But you can have success running that ball.
But you have both Chancellor and you have Sherman who are not 100%.
Right.
So if I was Brady, you're going to want to hit those targets on the outside. You're going to want to hit them and just run it.
Do you test it? If you're talking about you out there and test Sherman early?
Right away.
Right away. You have no fear. You just throw balls at him all day long.
100%. I say absolutely go right after him. See what comes of it. Next play, hit up Chancellor.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a good idea to test him. He has had 2 weeks off to rest and recover. And I think that's a big key going into the Super Bowl. But yeah.
I mean, you gotta be careful because the interceptions, Seattle's had 13 interceptions, and I don't think you're gonna see a little bit of all any of that, really. Tom Brady only threw, I think, 9 picks this year.
Yeah, no, he's been effective, but I think they're gonna start off running the ball, seeing if they can control the pace of play, and then picking their spots to throw. I think that's what Tom Brady's gonna do. Right. Finding Gronkowski at the middle, running him with Brown, and then testing Sherman on deep. But they don't really have a lot of deep threats. Edelman's a good slot receiver. Gronkowski up the middle is a beast. It's a hard matchup. I think you're gonna exploit those in more of the ground and pound than like the Giants. They're throwing deep or these deep passes. And it's gonna be the same for Seattle's offense as well. Seattle's gonna be out to run the ball.
Again, we're here at Old Street Pub in Smithtown for the Super Bowl pregame show. Again, we want to thank Frank, Joe, and Laura for having everybody here, having us do our show here as well. New England Patriots, Seattle Seahawks. If you ever want to catch our show, it's Weekly Rant. I'm Jimmy. This is Chris. You can always call in, of course. Phone number is 609-975-9689. We're on Facebook, Twitter. Everything you can imagine there. You can also advertise with us, email with us. All the business cards are out there. And otherwise, not only today, come down any night of the week, any weekend, Old Street. They got great food, great drinks, great atmosphere, and a wonderful staff here as well. So lastly, with the Seattle defense, with the 31 turnovers, the funny number that I saw right away was the turnovers that New England's offense has of 31 as well. So that's what I'm saying. This is one of the most evenly matched games that I've seen in a long time. Right. So their offensive rank, though, for New England, the only thing they have going for them is fourth. They basically get 30 points a game. Right. That's not going to happen this game. Otherwise, they're basically 20th in everything else, from rushing and passing yards. And their first and touchdowns are 52.
Yep.
Who do you think is going to perform better between New England's offense or Seattle's defense?
I think Seattle's defense. I really do think Seattle's defense is that good. I do. I think they can limit. I think they can limit the weapons and get pressure on Brady and cause them to make mistakes.
Yep.
Yeah. I think Seattle's defense will.
We got. I don't know. We can jump into the props real quick. Why not?
What about the key weapons in here?
You want to do key weapons?
Key weapons.
You see what you're doing to me over here?
What, you can't?
No, I can't multitask.
You like it's unorganized?
It's very unorganized. All right, so our key weapons here. Now, I wrote down a couple of names. For the Seattle Seahawks, obviously, we got Russell Wilson, but we're trying to keep the quarterbacks out of this conversation for a minute. Their number one key component, key weapon, none other than Marshawn Lynch.
Beast mode.
Oh, absolute beast mode. 28 years old. They always said that any running back who gets more than 300 carries back-to-back years will not perform the same in his third year when he goes for that number. He's performing just as good, if not better.
Yeah.
He's not performing as good at the mic stand, that's for sure. So yeah, he's 12th overall at the Buffalo Bills when he came up. And the funniest thing is, he was picked in the 2007 draft. The number one pick in that draft was Marcus Russell.
Marcus Russell.
I mean, Oakland, way to go on that one.
Swing and a miss. Well,
Oakland finally made one good draft with Derek Carr.
He's been 1 year, they barely won some games. I wouldn't call that a good draft yet.
No, but then you had Adrian Peterson go 7, Ted Ginn Jr. at 9, Darrell Revis 14. So it was a great draft class.
And you had Calvin Johnson go number 2 that year as well. No, that was a very good draft pick. But you just gotta laugh though. The Buffalo Bills. I mean, come on. They gave up on this guy so early. All the key to his success. You give the guy a bag of Skittles. Next thing you know, he's running around, tearing people over, running through New Orleans defense like it's nothing. And in typical Buffalo fashion, like, man, we don't like him. We'll give up.
Just don't believe it.
Oh yeah. I mean, really, it's really just hilarious.
So he's a 5-time Pro Bowl, Super Bowl champion, back-to-back rushing leader between this year and last year.
Yeah. He just, you know what it is about him? He just runs so hard. It's so hard to tackle him. He gets those extra yards. He comes out and smashes you in the face. It's amazing that he stays healthy through all that. It really is. But no, I mean, if you saw that guy running down on you, it'd be really hard to tackle. And he also has the ability to come up with that big run in a tight spot. Whether it was against Green Bay when he had that run and then there was a little celebration at the end that they got fined for him. But he has a way to make those big plays when they're needed. And I think that's key. Some players just have that, and he does.
Now, I find this year to be better for gambling and watching commercials, but just to get a feel out there, for everybody who's here at Old Street right now, if whoever's listening, I just want to find out who here is actually pulling for the Seahawks in this game. Nobody.
I think we have 2 people. I don't understand that. How does anybody here like the Patriots? How does other than the women, maybe they like Tom Brady?
Tom Brady, yeah.
Yes. I mean, no, and even they don't. Thank you. Nobody. Right, they're a bunch of cheaters. They're thugs. They're horrible people.
Yeah.
I would have to think that everybody would be rooting against the Patriots. I would think so. Deep down inside, does anybody want to see the Patriots win? Does anybody like them?
See, I think the Patriots are going to win and don't want them to win.
I can't see how anybody can take a rooting interest and say, you know what, I'd really like to see Tom Brady win a 4th. No, nobody wants that.
He only become the 6th, well, actually the 6th team in NFL history to win 4 Super Bowls.
Okay.
At least.
That's fair.
I don't want to be
That's a great stat, James. That is a great stat.
I pulled that right on my
way to just bring the heat right now.
Pulled it out.
Yeah. No.
So the key play for New England here, good call on that one, is Rob Gronkowski. Again, keeping the quarterbacks out of this one. Tom Brady, see you later. Gonna go with the tight ends here. Gronkowski. Now, do you think they're gonna make any trickery plays here at the line of scrimmage? Because you know the refs are gonna be all over. This guy's ineligible. That guy's ineligible.
Well, that ball's deflated. They actually came out this week and said they created a new rule.
Oh my. Thank you.
All right. She took one look at me and was like, he wants a joke. That big guy was definitely like some goal. Yeah, no, the referees came out and said that they would come up with a new signal to give the Seahawks for players that are ineligible. They came up with in the middle of the week just for that thing. But Belichick hasn't found a way to find different rules in there and exploit them. Can't knock that. Trick plays work when they work. Those are so good. I bet the food here is pretty good. You know, the bus boys work very hard back there. We should give them a hand. They really do. Definitely. They hustle back there.
My God, those are really, really good actually.
Yeah.
All right, so anyways, with Rob Gronkowski, yes, with Sorry, those are really, really good. I'm liking them. I like that.
Yeah.
He was drafted in the second round, 42nd overall. He's been here since day one. He won Comeback Player of the Year award this year, and he really did it in style too. You're talking about every time they're in the red zone, he's the #1 player that Tom Brady has been targeting.
Yes.
And if you want to compare him, I can compare him to Marshawn Lynch, and all he does is run. He just doesn't. He's unstoppable.
Well, he also catches the football.
But I'm saying same thing with Gronkowski. He's unstoppable.
Yes.
They don't take.
He's a matchup nightmare. He's finally healthy. He's comeback player of the year. I think he actually is going to be the key to New England's success. If New England does win this game, Gronkowski is going to have a monster game. He's going to have 2 touchdowns. He's going to be running people over. He's a matchup nightmare. That's the only way. That's the only way that the Patriots will be able to win if he has a big game. So that's why I think he's a key player.
3-time Pro Bowl, touchdown leader in 2011, and then the most important stat. I don't want to call it a stat. The most important fact about Gronkowski. That would be his website. Just to start with, his website.
Hey, he stole that from me.
Gronknation.com.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, he does have a. I think there's another key stat there.
there is
for
a key stat here for Gronkowski.
Yeah.
He has had an erotic novel written about him titled A Gronking to Remember.
True story. True story. Amazon. It's on Amazon. One of the best sellers. But yeah, I think the other thing too is when you compare tight ends and the Patriots, another key thing for him is he has no murders. No murders. That's the key. No murders for him yet.
No words, yeah.
No murders that you know of.
Speaking of which, I think Hernandez's trial got set back a little bit.
Some of the texts that came out of that trial were like, yeah, man, I messed up. I hit the body over here. They were that. He was the worst murderer I've ever seen. Just an absolute. Who puts that in a text message? Hey, man, I messed up. Dudes, help me hide him. Come on. When he leaves, he left the joint at the scene in the guy's body.
Not even rednecks do that.
I mean, just the worst. Just the worst. You got to be better at murder than that. Got to be better.
All right, let's jump into the prop bets here.
Prop bets, which I think is one of the most the fun things that you can do at the Super Bowl. Ridiculous prop bets. Some of the ones that I was able to find here, Jimmy, I want to ask you, I want to ask Vinny. Here we go.
I want to mark them down. If you save these, I'm going to mark these down.
I'm going to mark these down. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Which color will Bill Belichick's hoodie be? Gray, blue, or red?
It's going to be gray.
Gray? That's 1 to 2 right there. It seems like the winner. Think he's going to cut the sleeves off?
He's going to definitely cut the sleeves off.
Yes.
Yes.
Is it gray?
I'm gonna go with the red.
Gray? Alright, I think gray's the winner on that one.
Cut or not cut?
Well, if the sleeves are cut,
I do know red. The color red makes you hungry.
Makes you hungry?
Yeah.
wow,
The
that's a
color
hot
yellow
take right there.
makes you sour.
I never wear red.
McDonald's.
I'm fat and I'm always hungry.
That's why you can never pass that.
Oh yeah, we have a red tablecloth here, and I'm already eating these pretzels here that are unbelievable.
Yeah, we have so going back to that here. If the sleeves are cut, that's going off at minus 150. If they're intact, that's a plus 110. I got sleeves cut. Sleeves cut right there. Okay. Which color would Katy Perry's hair be when she begins the halftime show? Black brown at 2 to 1. Pink red at 3 to 1. Blue green 3 to 1. Blonde 4 to 1. Purple 5 to 1.
Where's Katy Perry from?
Doesn't matter.
Yes.
I would say pink because I like pink.
I think the dark horse right there is purple. 5 to 1. That's good money.
I'm going to have to say, I think she's going to be rooting for the Seahawks. So I'm going to go with that blue-green that you just said.
Okay. Here's another good one. Will Al Michaels refer to the point spread, total, odds, or who wins the game or any prop bet? Yes is plus 200.
I'm saying no.
You're going with the no?
I'm going with the no.
I'm going to go with a yes. I think he's going to talk about the...
He has no idea what that stuff is.
Al Michaels is a big gambler.
He has no idea.
He's always talking about spreads during games.
I'm going to say
the
no.
over-unders on these things, trying to get back. He's a gambler. I don't care what everybody says. That guy's a gambler. I'm going to go with the yes on that one. Let's see. Here's a good one. How many viewers will the game have? Over-under is set at 113 million. Under 113 million.
Under.
So you're saying less than a third of the nation? I'm going to go over that. I think you're going to get higher than 113.
I think you'd be around 120.
Oh yeah, over, yeah. You're talking about 380 million people in America? Yeah, more than a third. Yeah. Give or take.
Over.
Last time I read the census.
That's why I think it's going to be over.
This is a good one too. Who will the Super Bowl MVP mention first in his interview? His teammates, God, the fans, his coach, family, or the owner? Or he doesn't mention any of the above at 2-1.
I'm going to say coach.
Do you think he's going to thank his coach first?
Yes.
Well, I think that, who do you think is going to be the MVP?
You know, the way it's been going for the past few years, it's odd that it's never going to be or it's not a quarterback.
What do you mean?
Well, typically it's the quarterback always gets the MVP, which pisses me off.
Well, see, that's the thing, though. I think if you think along the lines that a quarterback's going to win, if Russell Wilson does win an MVP, the first thing he's going to mention is God. He's being so that's not a bad bet at 5-1 right there. I'm actually going to go with the fans in the city as my first.
That's a good bet if you're taking for Russell Wilson with the 12th fan.
Yeah. And
let's do one more. What do we got?
We got one more here. I'll make it a good one. Let's see. Here. Gatorade color. The Gatorade that's dumped on the coach. What color will it be?
It's gonna be orange.
Orange.
Yellow.
Clear. I'm gonna go with yellow as well.
Okay. Yeah. So we got that. That's it. See now I'm all over the place here now. So we got our prop bets. Are we making any gentlemen's bets?
A gentleman
If you're talking about cold hard cash,
I have some of that. Yes.
well, that's good for you. That's good. I hear it's fun. I hear you can do fun things with money. I wouldn't know.
All right, we're going to jump into our predictions here before we close out the show. Vinny, what are your predictions here on the show?
Talk about score? Well, wait, on the show or the score?
This, your prediction.
35-31 Seahawks.
You got Seattle. You got the high score.
That's because I have no idea.
You have no idea. You usually win the most money when betting on this stuff.
Who gave you a microphone? You have no idea. You had literally 3 hours to think of anything
there.
And it's nothing.
Look that good. My voice.
You have no idea. Just watching football.
You're asking who gave him a microphone or what he did for us.
That's true. Now, Jay, I do have to give him a big shout out to Vinny here. Setting up all this stuff. Doing a great job. Look at the way that floor is taped down. All those wires.
Hey, no one's tripping.
Does professional work, hard worker.
That would have been on camera. Actually, I should have left it.
He's also single, in case anybody's wondering. Single.
Or bearded and grizzly.
Yes.
All right, Chris, you're...
he's like the guy from the Old Spice commercials. Very manly. Smells
Wait, you're talking about the jacket, right?
Call him rustic. Rustic?
Rustic.
All right, what's your prediction?
My prediction, I think it's going to be low scoring. I think it's going to be a lot of possession battles. And I really think that Seattle pulls it out. Just because I mainly hate the Patriots. Mostly hate the Patriots. I think Seattle pulls it out 19-17.
I got a close, low-scoring game as well. I believe the score was set 42 points. Is that what we're looking at?
Probably around there.
I got the over on that, but I have New England winning 24-23.
24-23.
Yeah, I don't want it to happen.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to happen.
Yeah. You know, that's a good thing about your choice of the score. You don't have to choose that if you don't want to have it.
All right, I'm sorry. I think the Patriots are going to win 76.
He's actually he has no choice. It's like I really don't want to make my own prediction right now.
God told me before I came here it's going to be 24.
What happened over there?
We're already throwing beers. Things are getting wild over here. Old Street Pub. Old Street Pub. This is actually a nice setup, though.
Yeah, it works out. It works out nicely. But all right, so we're looking for a good matchup here. We're gonna be sitting over there. Make sure you guys get your boxes in. I don't know if they got a couple people fill out their boxes up there too.
Yep.
And
what are they giving away? They're giving away a TV, I think, in one of them.
Yeah, we got a couple of TVs out there.
They're giving away points, right? They're just giving away points, raffle tickets,
money.
No, they're definitely not giving away.
Yeah, $200.
There's money in there.
If you were the initial $200, that got you into the first quarter. Came out at $2,500, and then second quarter was $5,000, and $25,000 and $5,000.
That's a good spot to be in right there.
Yeah. So, anyways, as we close out here, I just want to say thank you one more time, Frank, Laura, Joe. I really appreciate everything in here and having us come down. Everybody, I hope everybody has a good time. I hope you all enjoy the game. I don't know how much the commercials we'll be able to see here, as we're all going to be drinking and enjoying this amazing food. The pretzels are unbelievable.
Yes. Make sure you take care of the bartenders back there. Make sure you take care of them.
Vinny, thank you for your help as well. Vinny, Cicero, Chris. Thank you for doing the show, buddy. I appreciate it very much. Everybody, make sure you have a good time tonight. Enjoy yourselves, all right? Get home safe later on tonight. Thank you very much.